I was majoring in psychology. I always wanted to get my license. Once I did that first flight and I actually got to fly, I was immediately, how do I make this my career? I'd heard about Sling. I came in to do my intro flight here. Super fun to fly, and I was tragically hooked. I was gonna have to immediately change life courses here, hoping for the airlines one day.
Hey guys, it's Matthew from Sling Pilot Academy. Our Leap of Faith series highlights students and instructors from Sling Pilot Academy so they can tell their inspiring stories about where they started and how they've become a pilot. Stick around to hear some great advice. So, what's your name and what are you working on?
My name is Kate and I am a CFI here at Sling.
Before enrolling in Sling, what were you up to? What were you doing in life?
So before I enrolled at Sling, I had just graduated from the University of Oregon and I was majoring in psychology. I really love psychology, had a lot of fun with that major, and my plan was to go to grad school for that. I wanted to be a psychologist, but in between applying to grad school and graduating, I was working as a personal trainer. That was also super fun, really loved doing that, but getting my license was always something I kind of wanted to do. Started looking into checking that out.
So that's a pretty different path than aviation. What brought you toward it?
A lot of my family members are in aviation, so I kind of got to see what that lifestyle was like, and it wasn't really something that I thought I would 100% go into, but I always wanted to get my license. So I thought I would just look into kind of what down the line getting my private pilot license would look like.
For you, what was the exact moment, if you can remember, that you decided, okay, now I'm gonna pursue aviation, not just as a hobby, but as a career?
I came in to do my intro flight here. I'd heard about Sling. I'd heard about it from a family member actually, and they said it was super cool, seemed like a really great program, I should come check it out. And I was like, yes. Sounds good. So I came down, I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't spent a lot of time in small planes, definitely not two-seaters, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna be nervous about it or anything. It was a super great time. He took us around Torrance area and around the peninsula, and it was super pretty, super fun to fly, and it was just overall super fun. And I was tragically hooked. I was gonna have to immediately change life courses here.
You said that there were people in your family that were in aviation, but was being a pilot something that you kind of always dreamed about, or was it only something that got ignited later on?
It was something that I was interested in, but I wasn't ever, as a child, I didn't think being an airline pilot was immediately what I wanted to do, because I did have a lot of other interests. But once I did that first flight and I actually got to fly, I was immediately, how do I make this my career?
Before you came in, were there any fears or doubts that you had about the program, about yourself?
In terms of just aviation training, everything's expensive. I hadn't spent a lot of time in small aircraft, so I didn't know if that alone was gonna be scary to me. Growing up, I was would kind of get motion sick. So I was really worried about being in a small plane and just feeling terrible while training. And I think the intro flight kind of handled a lot of that for me, where I was immediately not scared, having a really good time. It was not only fun, but interesting in a way that I wanted to continue it. And then also I didn't get motion sick.
So was there a specific event or conversation that kind of pushed you over the edge to apply?
I think the intro flight is what pushed me to apply, because that's just really what snapped me into realizing that this was definitely something I wanted to do. However, in terms of getting to that intro flight, or what made me really want to look into it, was just the interest of what it could turn into. I didn't know if I just wanted to get my private license, or if I, wanted to get a few licenses and then just, fly when I could, or what I wanted to make out of that. But it was just kind of blind curiosity that got me in the door, and I'm glad it did.
How did your friends and family react when they found out that you were going to be joining flight school?
The main thing was they were just surprised, because for as long as they'd known me, I was on the track to be a psychologist one day. So I think the initial reaction is definitely surprise, but then immediately after, they were all super supportive, and they were that's so cool, when can we go flying? And I was give me 3 months at least. Mostly surprise, and then just a lot of support, which was cool.
Did you feel like there was any risk associated with enrolling here?
I mean, I feel it's just a big commitment. You're committing to, since I did the academy, you commit to a full-time program. And so committing to that and committing to investing in yourself in that sense is definitely something that has some form of risk. Obviously, it's like not, the quickest decision to be made, but again, I was like pretty hooked after that intro flight to where it was like my main priority at that point. So I was just like, what do I need to figure out to make that happen? Definitely felt the risk, but it was kind of like risk was kind of overshadowed by my like drive to start flying.
That's awesome, actually. Like, I mean, with a mindset like that, you can really get over anything that you struggle with because you're gonna find the solution. You want to get to the end.
Yeah, true.
So did you have to make any big life changes like moving, leaving a job, just like relocating, anything like that?
I definitely had to quit my other job because again, I was committing to a full-time program. That transition was definitely something that made me nervous because I did really like my old job. It was, steady income, all of that. But again, really wanted to kind of make that leap. So did quit my job. Luckily, I didn't have to move. That was actually like, with our like locations that were set up at the time, I was super close to Torrance, so that worked out really well. The switch from job back to school was definitely something that I was a little nervous about, but it worked out fine, and I was super lucky in the sense that I did get to stay kind of in my general location, so that worked out well.
How did you kind of convince yourself throughout the time that you were training to keep going despite unknowns?
Yeah, I mean, I think like each rating has its own set of challenges in terms of just like the material you're learning, and then also how much time you personally need to commit to different parts of your training, because everybody finds like strengths and weaknesses throughout all parts of training, and I feel like just knowing yourself helps with that a lot. So every time I like found myself in a spot where I was like, this is a ton of work, or, I'm not sure how long this next step's gonna take me, I always just kind of went back to like the basics of, okay, well, I know how I work in this sense, so let me like play up my strengths right now and then like take time when I need it. But again, full-time program, you just want to be kind of hitting the ground running as best you can. So just tried to remind myself of that.
What's one piece of advice that you'd give to somebody who's out there watching this video that they're on the fence about either joining Sling or just about aviation in general?
Getting your licenses and getting into aviation is something that you decide you really want to do, then I think you should absolutely, push yourself to look further into it. I say plan ahead because again, it is a real commitment that you have to choose to invest in. Like if you're coming from another job and you're going back to school, you have to ready your mind to get back into like studying and not just like, doing something that you've already been trained to do, and really accepting that like there's going to be moments where you don't feel the smartest. But I think if you can like get that mindset down and like be prepared for that, then like you should 100% go for it. I'm really glad that I did, obviously.
What's the biggest reward that you've gotten so far since taking this big leap?
Throughout, the whole training process, like every win is a win. So like every rating you pass or written you pass or stage check you pass or even just like a really good flight is like a win. So I think just like acknowledging like the little wins is like really what helps you get through it. But I think for me personally, I'm just signing off actually my first student for their check ride, and I'm super stoked about that. They're gonna do so well on it, and like seeing somebody that you train do well is a super cool feeling.
Where do you see this leap, this change taking you in the next 5 years?
Ideally, down the road, I'd like to go to the airlines. Once I started working on my licenses, or pretty much after that intro flight, again, my main goal was like, how do I make this a career for me? And again, having people in my family be in aviation, I've kind of seen what that lifestyle looks like, and that's what really intrigues me. So hoping for the airlines one day.
How do you feel now compared to when you first enrolled in the program?
I think now I have really like settled into like the community here at Sling, where at first I think a lot of things felt kind of overwhelming because you're being just kind of fed like a fire hose of like material that you're supposed to be learning, and you're focusing on, getting through your rating. But I think I feel just a lot more settled in like my day-to-day, and it makes coming here a lot more fun now that I have like a balance rather than just trying to get through all my material in the day.
What does success in aviation look like to you?
Any day where I get to have fun flights, so like whether that's like on my own time, flying with like friends and family, or just like getting to fly with students. That's like my main goal always, is just getting to fly.
I hope that you continue to be successful in that case. You keep flying, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. We hope you were inspired. If you have any other questions about taking your very own leap of faith, drop a comment and we'll get it answered. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. We really appreciate it.